All right, so today I have the real honor and pleasure of inviting you, Christian Thagard. Hello.
Hi, Viv. Pleased to be on your show.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you here, Christian. Uh, so, Christian, whereabouts in the world are you?
Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Wow. So now, Christian, can you please tell me a little bit about yourself? Who are you?
Who are you? That's such a fascinating question to either ask or be asked. And I guess I could come at that at so many different levels. And I'm hoping over the course of our conversation, we'll hit a few of those levels. But since this is the Wake Up podcast, I think I'll start with when did I wake up? How did I wake up? And that it was a very abrupt wake up in 1986. So, and I was jarred awake from the kind of normal reality that most people are in, where you just go about your business and you think reality is about atoms bumping into atoms, and suddenly I was jarred into, whoa, there's more to this than meets the eye, and I've got to find out what that's all about. And that was very abrupt in 1986. And what happened from there is there's some events, no near death experience, and I don't purport to channel angels or ETs or ascended masters, but I was jarred out of this very logical approach to life. And for me, the mission at that point was, I need to understand what just happened and what's really going on here. That started a deep dive that now I'm 37 years into, that I have more fun with every single day. It's absolutely delightful doing the dive into metaphysics and what I call applied metaphysics, which is going beyond physics into, ooh, what's really going on here? What really is this reality? And how do you make it work for you? What are we trying to do? So starting 37 years ago, I was reading a book a week. I was diving into every spiritual pursuit you could dive into, and something kind of magical starts to happen when you do that. You realize, oh my goodness, all these different paths up the mountain, it's all the same mountain. They start to come together. You crack the code of the lexicon. The lexicon's different. The vocabulary, the words used are different. The perspectives are different, but oh my goodness, we're all climbing the same mountain, and it starts to make sense. Now, just a little bit about me in that sense. I'm a very logical person. That's what I packed for this trip. So that's what I contribute. And just as a bit of an aside, everyone, including yourself, obviously, we've all got, we're all a unique jigsaw puzzle piece that we've got something to, each of us has something to contribute that's unique to us. Well, and if you look at what you packed for the journey, that'll tell you something about your path. So with me, I'm a very logical sort who likes to understand things. I'm a Virgo rising. I'm an Enneagram 1, if that means anything. I'm a truth teller. I'm a logic-seeking missile. Cognitive dissonance can last in my brain for about a minute before it drives me crazy. I've got to sort things out. So I've been on a 37-year journey of that, and it gets more fun every single day. So back to the who are you, if my mission, if I can put it in those senses, is to say, because to people who are waking up to something, oh my goodness, there's something here beyond just the ordinary everyday stuff that people focus on, is, first of all, it does not make you crazy. It makes you feel sane. And if you just let yourself go more than dip your toe in the water and dive in, it's really fun, and you'll see it starting to come together in a way that you go, and you go, this is kind of fun. This is kind of a joy. This is supposed to be a joyride. So that's sort of where I'm at today. Now, in the meantime, in this deep dive, I worked as a lawyer. I practiced law for 43 years. I retired 2 years ago. And along the way, I'll go way back to 1986 now. Remember, we don't even have internet at that point. There's nothing. And it's a little less of a forgiving world back then in terms of diversity of thought. You were either mainstream materialist or you were New Age crazy. And yet I'm practicing law in a pretty mainstream kind of job in a mainstream career. And I'm wondering, oh my goodness, if people find out what a New Age nutcase I am and can't not be, what will that do to my reputation and standing in the world? Turns out there's nothing to worry about. But it's a different world today. Mm-hmm. So back to that, waking up, pure fun, and it actually works. And this world doesn't work quite the way most people assume it works. It's sort of set up to fool us, not in a malevolent way, but it's full of you. I'm sure you've heard the expression Maya or illusion, and it's just brilliant. And you can come to live just being in awe of it and have an unbelievable amount of fun with it. So it doesn't make you crazy, and yes, it's fun is sort of the key messages. So 2 years ago, I thought, okay, I gotta step out of the spiritual closet, if I can borrow a phrase that Alex Ferrari uses. Mm-hmm. And I published my book, Earth Game, The Evolution of Consciousness. Mm-hmm. And that title, Earth Game, that was just assigned to me. You're going to write a book called Earth Game. And I kind of worked backwards because I've always been a writer, but mostly in legal writing. But I'd written about a 500-page manuscript. And I thought, about 10 years ago, no, this is the wrong approach. I need a simpler approach that will bridge to people who are just waking up, who just had their red pill moment, if I can use that from the Matrix. Are you going to wake up or are you going to go back? And to say, hey, wait a minute, this makes sense. This is okay. Come on in. The water's fine. And here's how it works. And here's how you can make it work for you. So I wrote a pretty simple book and published it a couple of years ago. And since then, what I do, which I really have fun with, is whenever sort of a rabbit hole calls to me, what's the nature of time? What happens when you die? What about parallel realities? Where does ego fit in? What about dualities? How do the masculine and the feminine fit in? What about quantum physics? Whenever something calls to me, I write an article on it. I post it on my website, which I will plug at christianthagard.com. And I just post it one-click access, and I have fun with it. And what I get out of all this, I get to talk to fascinating people like you. So that's that's from where I started in 1986 to where I am today. Okay, where do we go from here with the conversation?
That's amazing. What an interesting journey and path you've been on. Now, you said really life is about having, fun, really fun. And what is that? What is fun for you?
Well, let's start at what I think I realized over what is this? Because I was always like the 4-year-old who kept asking why. What is this? So when you start exploring, even if you start exploring quantum physics, I don't know if you have or haven't, but I probably read 25 books on quantum physics, and every exploration into quantum physics takes you to, whoa, this isn't what it looks to be. Let me go back like 100 years, almost a century. Max Planck, I'm sure you've heard of, the father of quantum physics. Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can get the quote right. There is no matter as such. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. Okay. So, and I realize I'm taking a circuitous route to what's fun, but I'll get there. So what is this? What is this? Because it's not what it looks to be. And long story short, I come to the conclusion, this is a game. This is the first step is, whoa, this is not random. This is not just something that created itself. The Big Bang didn't just happen. Somebody designed this with incredible specificity. Or every cosmological constant is exactly what it needs to be, or this thing just wouldn't be. It would all collapse back in or expand forever. Nothing would coalesce. The precision that we had to have galaxies and stars and planets and this playing field, if you will, if you dive into that, it's delightfully mind-blowing. So then you got to ask the question that science doesn't usually ask. Science asks what and how, but I love to ask why. Why did somebody go to all this trouble to create this playing field, if you will?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is to play. What is this thing? It's a game. It's an adventure. It's a story. So who created it? Well, for want of a better expression, whoever did the Big Bang, I'll use God, don't think of you know what, but as the creator, the all that is the source. All those words were fine, and created this to play in it, and then spun us off as little bits, pretending to be separate from that entity, because we're not. We're really,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is, spoiler alert, here's the punchline here. You're God, I'm God, everybody's God.
Mm-hmm.
We're all part of that. And what's interesting, I mentioned that climb up the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Every spiritual pursuit, not every religion, because they get stuck at the base camp, but every true spiritual pursuit arrives at the same conclusion. We're all God, we're all connected, we're all one. We're it. And what are we doing? We're having an adventure. Now, so back to the fun part of it. So what is God like? Well, I remember from the religion of my youth, the notion that we were made in God's image. Didn't make any sense to me then, but it does now. Is okay. We love games. God loves games. We love stories. Think about it. Our movies, our books. What do we do in our spare time? We play games and we engage in stories, and we love them both. We love our games, our sports. We love our stories. That's what God loves too. We love love. God loves love. And we love adventure. Even sometimes the scary adventures. We go to amusement parks and theme parks and go on roller coasters at Halloween. We go to haunted houses. We like to scare ourselves. We're adventurers. Now, so fun, which is doing fun is everything that this was designed to be. We're playing here. Now, is that the way most of us live our lives? Heck no. Most of us live our lives thinking, I got to take care of this. Oh man, this is too hard. Life isn't fair. All those people got all the money. How am I going to find the time for this? How am I going to find someone? We get completely distracted. But if you can come home to that notion that, oh my goodness, you're a little piece of God and you're here playing and making a story. Okay, now you have my definition of fun. Play it life. Write the story as you go. Don't resist the story, because it's partly pre-written and part of it you're making it up as you go. Because there's a lot of planning before you, the trader, got dropped into this lifetime. I mean, before you came here, your parents were lined up. You chose your astrological birth chart. You chose your Enneagram personality drive, a whole pile of other things. Siblings, if you have any major life issues, maybe some leftover stuff. That's the definition of karma, what you didn't, unfinished business. And then you dropped in, and now, whoa, amnesia. We all come in with amnesia. We mostly don't remember who we are. And then people tell us all sorts of things that aren't true along the way. And this illusion of, whoa, you're completely separate. No, you're not, but it's an illusion. But what does it make for? A fabulous, fabulous, fabulous game. And if I've learned anything, it's to play at it and to love it and to be in awe of it. Because this is cool. This is, if you view it as a game, you're going to fill your life up with just this sense of awe and joy. And the way the game is set up, and I can get into that if you like.
I'd love to.
The signal that you're sending out, or the signal that you're matching to, is going to precipitate down into your reality stuff that matches. Very Abraham Hicks in that sense, bang on. They are. And so if you can get to that space, whoa, this is play at point. now you really start to become very lucky in life. And you can plan it. You can do what you really had in mind, as opposed to dealing with all the stuff. And when you deal with stuff, because hey, I deal with stuff, you deal with stuff, everybody has to deal with stuff, but it's just not so heavy anymore. It doesn't feel so. If you can hold that mindset, oh my goodness, I'm a little piece of God having an adventure. And then the fun thing for me is, okay, so God spun me off. I'm still connected with God. I'm both hologram, it's all there. And I'm fractal. I'm out at the fringe, you know. Can I show God a good time here? Can I really make the most of this? Can I be appreciative of this playing field? And can I look at everybody else? Can I look at you and just see that piece of divinity, that piece of God in you? And I think, well, why can't I? Okay, that's where do we go from here?
That's amazing. So life is about, adventure. And I think we're all children walking around in adult bodies. And it's about finding your inner child again and having that fun and the innocence and being playful and exploring life and not taking it so seriously. That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
Yeah, to play and the childlike innocence. I'll agree with that. But it's a shame that we ever lost that.
And how do you think, what do we need to do to regain that child mindset, if you wish?
Well, getting past the amnesia, but to me, the doorway, and it was a doorway for me, is meditation. I remember my first meditation, which was sort of a precursor to my big wake-up call in 1986. I'd gone to a 2-day seminar that for some reason, somebody was able to talk me into going to. You know, it was one of those sort of, for some reason, I guess I need to go. I don't know why I need to go here, but I do. And at the end of the first day, there was a guided meditation. I'd never even heard of really meditation and at the and in this guided meditation, I went so deep, and I came out of it and said, where did I just go? Because I'm going there again. And I've meditated pretty much every day since. And it's, you want to talk about fun. My meditations are fun. And I know you meditate as well, but it opens the doors. It takes all the fog of and the cloud and the density because this can be a hard place, this planet Earth. This is a challenge, but you can just lift up into, and I won't try to summarize everything about meditation. You can go through doors and lift up into the lighter energies, and you can bring them back with you, and it'll change your world. So to me, meditation is a must.
And what did the first meditation look like for you? What happened? Did you was it a guided meditation, or what was your first experience?
Mine evolves from time to time, and it's probably too long a conversation. I got to write an article because somebody actually contacted me and said, T, I need a beginner's guide to meditation. There's a few pages in my book on meditation. Basically, you're quieting the noisy mind, the physical brain, which chatters all the time. Michael A. Singer has written some great stuff about the chatter, because the brain is just gonna go. So most people, when they start to meditate, they will get monkey brain. It'll be your whole life is just jabbering away, and the way you calm it, some people really breathing is the best way, because you can just focus on the breathing. If you can occupy your brain, your busy mind, then it won't be off monkey brain. And I work through the chakras with colors. That really works for me. And then sometimes it just goes different places, or occasionally I can feel the call coming in, and the meditation takes off the moment I close my eyes. And it just, okay, somebody wants to talk to me, or this wants to go somewhere. Great, watch the movie, as Abraham says. Just watch the movie that starts playing, and you'll get better at it. is there one way to do it? Postures? I don't think it's that important. Do sitting down though, because if you do it lying down, it'll turn into a nap for most people. And it's just, there's no question it's good for your health, and it just calms everything. But just to access some of these higher energies is just, or even just focus on opening up the heart center, which is a far smarter than your physical brain. Or the other one is to really focus on the third eye, the sixth chakra, because the pineal gland is kind of a gateway. That's what people do ayahuasca or LSD or magic mushrooms. The physical effect of that is to get the pineal going a little crazy for you, so that you shatter the illusion, open the doors, and you see infinity. But if you just work with that sixth chakra and the pineal gland in meditation, you can do it without all the throwing up of ayahuasca. You don't need it, is my point. I'm not bad mouth.
Tap into consciousness, the infinite wisdom and the knowledge, we know everything outside ourselves, right?
Yes, but here's your route to that. Okay, I've just described this as a game, and sometimes a simulation, although people sometimes get that wrong. All that means that this is a simulation is that there is a more real reality outside what I call Earth game, outside this physical world. Okay, just like if you were playing a video game, which ironically I don't do, there's a you, an avatar in the game, and there's a you outside the game. Now, which one's more real? The you playing the game is more real than the avatar, okay, inside the game. Well, Viv Trader is the avatar within the game. Well, there's a you outside the game who's more real. Now, you want to get to know that you, because that you, unlike the avatar within the game, is limited by the linearity of four-dimensional space-time. That you is not so limited. That you knows is part of God, is part of everything. It has access to all knowledge the way that you have access to the internet. It's like the spiritual internet, if you will. And your higher self is sort of the synergy of the heart and that divine mind, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And if the more you can connect there and build that relationship, you can know whatever you need to know. Now, some things they don't want to tell you because you don't need to know. But let's face it, we are, in the grand scheme of things, kind of beginners. We're just waking up, okay? But what a fun thing to wake up to. So exploring those, whoa, it's just a rush and it feels good. And this is the other nice thing about the way reality works. Pardon my stream of consciousness going all over the place here, is you can kind of tell if you're on the right track by how's it feel. Like thoughts, as you know, thoughts create things, thoughts. And this was one of the things that first drew my attention to metaphysics. Okay, thought is interacting with matter somehow. Now, I know I can't just sort of, levitate something through the air. So, rocks are hard, water's wet, I can't fly like a bird. And yet thought is having an impact in this reality. So what do you want to do? Think better thoughts, because the one thing you've got control of in your world that nobody can take away from you is, where do you put your attention? What thought do I want to hold? Do I want to think about that neighbor who's got me annoyed, or that boss, or that, or what the politicians are doing, or do I want to look at the fall colors and just be enraptured by them? So, but I can tell the quality of my thoughts by, this is where emotions come in, by feelings. How good do they feel? This conversation we're having, does this feel good? Yes, it does. Good. Let's keep talking. You know what I mean? If somebody wants to lying about their spouse or how unfair life is. And I kind of want to, it doesn't feel good. So I want to edge away.
That's it true in a compass as well. Does it give energy or does it take energy? I ask that all the time to myself. Does this give me energy or does it take energy? And then, do more of what gives you energy, right?
A little bit, but it's more, does it feel good? Because there's sometimes to put energy out can feel really good. So I don't know if it's just an energy exchange in that way. It's but I'm responsible for my own, for what frequency. Now, one of my favorite articles I wrote is called Quantum Living Simplified. And it's, what's your quantum signal? In other words, what am I putting out? Or perhaps more accurately, where am I setting my radio station? What am I aligning to? And things are going to happen that will throw me off. There'll be something scary. There'll be something a little sort of, but I got to let that one go real quick because it doesn't, process it, let it go real quick, because it's the stuff that gets stuck that does the damage. And most people get a lot of stuff real stuck for a long, long time. And because that stuff is always trying to push its way up and out, it's going to come at you in your world. That's why if you have issues with money, or you have issues with relationship, or you have particular health issues in a particular part of the body, they'll be so resistant. You'll keep trying to shove them down. They'll keep coming back up, keep coming back up, keep coming back up. Let them come up, let them bubble up, let them bubble up. And then if you're coming from that higher, if you can get to those higher energies, just let the bubbles come up, come up, come up, come up, come up, because they just want to release. They want you to feel good. I mean, the stuff of God is love. We know that. It's very peaceful. It's very joyful. And there's this beautiful energy that is delight in our journey homeward. Well, if you can build your reality out of that stuff, who cares what happens? Who cares who's in your world? It's going to be good, right? Mm-hmm. If that's the raw materials of your reality, you don't really need a vision board, because it's going to be what you like.
Yeah. And you can train your thoughts, right? Is it like a muscle? You can train how become aware and then make progress to change your thoughts. If you want to raise your frequency, you need to start thinking positive thoughts, right?
Well, I would totally agree with you. The first step is be aware of what your thoughts are. And one thing that anybody could ask themselves is, what triggers me? And how often am I triggered? Some people are and I don't mean to be judgy here, because God isn't judgy, but some people are triggered 97% of the time. So, and I got, if anything triggers me, I got to let that go. Not for that person who triggers me. I'm not letting them off the hook. I let myself off the hook. So yeah, paying attention to, where are my thoughts going? Where are my default thoughts? And do they feel good? Because that will give you a direct tap into, use the word frequency, which is a perfectly fine word. Frequency or vibration are perfectly fine, except in that article I mentioned, I thought I want to use quantum signal, because frequency and vibration are actually, they have physical meanings. And what I'm using as a shorthand, the quantum world, I'm not the only one who does that. It's not physical. It's above the physical. You've heard the expression, as above, so below, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's, if you think of this world, pure consciousness of the quantum realm, which our scientists are just starting to poke into and going, hey, this is weird. It precipitates out of that into our world. So it's actually the thought that's running the show. We think it's moving things around or persuading somebody that they're thinking wrong and they got to change their mind, or getting people to, bullying people to do what you want, or it's, you can do that, but it's not as efficient an approach as get the quantum signal where you want it to be, and then it's got to precipitate down, as above, so below. So focus there and let the details, let the universe handle the details.
And you
And
mentioned,
I use
yeah.
the universe as a shorthand for, it's the mechanism, the brilliant mechanism that weaves in every thought from every person that's going out into the quantum realm and just puts them all together and delivers in a way that matches your signal, that matches my signal, that matches everybody's signal. And it's a different way of looking at reality, because let me just go on from that a little bit. What do we think we need to do, most of us? We think, well, I gotta get the perfect relationship so I never have to feel lonely. I gotta get a really nice home so I can feel good about it. I gotta get enough security that I feel safe. I gotta get the right political party elected so they don't mess me up. I gotta get everything managed. So in other words, what you gotta do is constantly react to the world. Well, why don't we turn that around and see if we can get the world to react to us individually? In other words, if I can focus on my signal and the world reacts to me, not in some sort of bullyish way, but it'll just deliver what I need to have a great adventure and to have a lot of fun here. Well, that's a lot easier. Now, some things they're going to affect us all. Let's take COVID, for example. Okay, every one of us were affected by COVID by design. That was I'm sure it was very much a design thing, but it impacted some people. And again, let's not lapse into blame or judgment here, in really harsh ways, and others it didn't really hurt that much at all. So we're all going to feel some things. I mean, if there's a war in the world, we're all going to feel that. But what do we respond to it with? Can we respond with a feeling of, come on, we're all one here, we're all together, as opposed to, we gotta kill them? You know, it's we still get our choices.
Absolutely. And you were saying something interesting as well about triggers. You know, some people walk around feeling 90% of the time triggered all the time, and that comes down to obviously being unhealed, because when you trigger, there's something in you that's unhealed. So the healing journey is very, very essential to raise your frequency.
Your triggers will show you what needs to heal. Now, I recently read a terrific book, Michael A. Singer, Living Untethered. The best book I've seen about releasing stuff. It was just a 2022 book. The stuff wants to come up and wants to release, which is why it keeps being in your face. You know, for instance, if you have a particular, let's say you were mistreated by a boss in a job. So you quit that job and you go to another one. Oh my goodness, now you get the same kind of boss. And so you conclude, well, and then you do it again, or in relationships, again and again and again. Well, maybe it's you know? So that's why these things come at you in your world, because they want to come up, they want to come out, they want to be released, they want you to, the game wants you to feel good. We go, no. I just got to make that boss behave better. No, you can do that. And you can have little bits of success. But I think every person you've ever met would agree that's a really hard way to go. It's exhausting getting other people to behave properly.
Oh, it's lovely. You know,
so there's a different way to play the game. And I think it's really fun. It's easy for me to say. I don't go to work in the day anymore, but no, I was experimenting with a lot of this stuff for many years while I was out in the workaday world, and I know what worked and what didn't work, and trying to go at it was just it's exhausting.
What's your most profound insight throughout the years?
Profound insight? Well, that it's a game, and that we're itty bitty. Every one of us is an itty bitty piece of God having an adventure, and that it's a game, and to just be in awe of the design of it. Holy cow, is this cool? You know, everything from music to the Fibonacci sequence in nature to something like, I'll give you an example. Somebody had this idea. Hey, if we put this moon around the Earth, they'll create this beautiful night light in the sky, and there'll be these ocean waves, which will make a really cool noise, and you'll be able to surf on them. What a genius idea. Or we'll have these seasons that in the winter you could ski, slide on the snow. When I'm in awe of it, and if I can hold that to the extent that I can hold that, like yesterday, walking in the fall colors for, a very, very long time, that's all I want. That's all I need. That's just sort of perfect.
Mm. Yeah.
So to be in awe is most people are kind of fighting the game, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking, if I can just get everything right, if I can get those kids behaving properly, if I can, you get this and that, and then I can relax. And well, maybe you relax for 1 or 2 weeks of vacation a year, and the rest of it is, frankly, too hard. Most people's lives are too hard. I don't make light of that. And some are horror stories because maybe they came here to learn one thing. But anybody can reach up a little bit, or at least realize that the war against anything creates more of it. That if you decide, we got to stamp out this, you're going to create more of it. Whatever you fight against, you actually generate more of. Whatever you battle, you perpetuate. It's all very counterintuitive, and that's part of the brilliance of the game too. It looks like it's a certain way, and it's kind of the opposite. And I just, by the way, that's the other thing about it. Back to this, we were made in God's image. Well, we love humor, right? We love to laugh. God loves humor. God's got a sense of humor, I swear. So, lighten up, play at it a little bit. Back to the child, play at it. I mean, look at the way that small children approach. They're hilarious because there's that energy. Well,
they don't care what other people think. They just being themselves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the other. I haven't mentioned this. What gets in the way a lot is ego, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, I don't know. Ego is your interface with the personal, with the physical reality. Okay, ego. You have to have ego to see colors, to taste that strawberry, to listen to the music. It's your interface with the physical senses. Nothing wrong with that. When you're kind of on autopilot, not paying attention, ego thinks, okay, I got to figure out how to do this. Okay, I got to create safety, and I got to get love, and I got to get recognition. So I guess I need fame and fortune, and I got to be on alert for every possible danger. When you put ego behind the wheel, your life is going to become a living hell. Even if you achieve fame and fortune, it just won't work right. So I had these delightful conversations with my ego now, who's, again, not an adversary. And my ego always, as soon as we have the conversation, ego goes, I know, just watch the movie. That's ego's job. Eat the peach. listen to the music. Watch the sunset. That's ego's job.
Yeah, it's gone so wrong. We're too much in our egos, or many people are. The world is entering now into more a heart energy, where we operate from our hearts more than our egos, because we need to have a change, right?
Well, we're reaching, the higher energy in the heart, and the higher energy through the pineal, through the sixth chakra. The higher mind, the higher heart. Ego actually gets pretty comfortable just watching the movie, because it kind of doesn't know how to figure out the other stuff anyhow. So, I mean, the physical brain is kind of designed to be fooled. Like it's designed to be fooled.
Otherwise, it would be too easy, right?
It would be too easy. It would be a lousy game. And the game's supposed to be challenging. Like we think, oh, sometimes life is so hard. It's supposed to be. There's supposed to be challenge to it. All the good games are challenging.
Wow, that's a really profound way of thinking of it. I never thought about it that way, that the ego is there to challenge us, so to make it more fun, playful, and not too easy, right? That's a really good way of thinking of it.
Yeah, well, it's a brilliant game. It's a brilliantly designed game. Or even things like physicality. It's just It's such an illusion. I mean, even the neurons in your brain, they're all ones and zeros. They either fire or don't. Everything you see is registered in your brain as ones and zeros. Everything you taste, everything you hear is ones and zeros. How do they do that? I mean, come on, that's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Now, or think of 38 trillion cells or 36 trillion cells. Are always coming up with a different count. I don't even know how they would do that. 36 trillion cells in your body somehow working together. Well, okay, if 36 trillion cells can get together, surely 8 billion of us on the planet can be a little bit considerate of each other and work together, right? Mm. So, and because all this is we're waking up, we're moving. I've been, ever since I was a child, I've had a pervasive optimism. Everybody's always saying we're running out of everything. There's scarcity, and then we're killing the earth, and we're all going to die, and humanity's junk, and we're all going to be judged. And no, you drop into density, and you climb out little by little, and then you catch you kind of catch fire, and you get to the point where we are right now, and it's sort of, whoa, we're going somewhere. And this is why everybody's tuning into us. Like I'm sure you're aware, everybody seems to be channeling somebody these days, and that stuff's great. Don't get me wrong, I eat that stuff up. I love it. The extraterrestrials civilizations paying attention to us. Well, sure they are. We're not the first. We're not the only one, for crying out loud. Sirius, Pleiades, Orion, and others, and they've all got some history on Earth. And they're all tuning into us and paying attention. And they're fascinated by where we're at. They're fascinated. So we could stand to, if this is the best show in the galaxy right now, we could stand to be a little more excited about it ourselves. Everybody's tuning in and watching this. Do you just, as an aside, have you stumbled upon any sense of your own galactic heritage? Like, let me put it in context while you're thinking about your answer. Is some people are kind of baby souls. It's like the first time, a couple of times you play any video game. You don't know how it works. You get killed off. It goes kind of badly, but you come back and you do it again. Well, some of us have been here a long time. Okay, we've done this thousands of times, and before Earth, we did it somewhere else. And that's not everybody, but a lot. So I kind of know where I was before Earth, and I'm curious if you've had any glimmers of that.
I think I sort of had. I mean, I've been many lifetimes on Earth as well. I know that for a fact, and I know I'm here to do my mission. And I think Palladians is something that I'm very drawn to. I love water. I always love water. I thrive in water. I want to be in water most of the time. So. And I know that's a very good sign, a strong sign for if you are from Canadians, So I think so. I think I know. Do you know? You said you know.
Yeah.
So how did you find out? How did you get to know where you're from?
Well, they talked to me way back when and kind of woke me up. At least I'm pretty sure it was them. And it's when I look up in the night sky and I see Sirius,
right,
the little star, off Orion's belt. I just melt inside. I just melt. And then everything I've read about, there's some interesting histories. You got to kind of glean a little bit what feels true, what doesn't. But it's kind of the bent that I have of logic, understanding, bridging, explaining. Where Pleiadian is a little more heart-centered, a little more feeling-centered, coming a little more from the divine feminine as opposed to from the divine masculine. And again, there's not one. And the point is, these guys, they really love us. They really love us. They really care about us. And that's kind of cool. Because you know why? They've been where we are, and they went through worse hells than Earth has gone through. And it took them a little longer than it's going to take us. Now, how fast? I don't know. I don't have to care. I mean, my view is okay. I'm an employee of the universe. I wake up in the morning and I check in my meditation and say, okay, universe, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Sometimes they say, go play. Just go walk in the woods or play golf or pickleball or just tend your garden. And sometimes they say, well, go on this podcast with Jeff or whatever, or write this article about. And I don't have to really worry about where that goes because the story's going to unfold. Earth's story is a beautiful story arc, and we're in a beautiful place in it where the action is really ramping up. And we don't have to know where it goes. Although there's this, maybe I'll mention this part, is back in 1986, when I wake up to the stuff and it starts to piece together, and I'm thinking, whoa, everybody's going to want to know about this. Everybody's going to wake up right away as soon as they get, no. So it's been a long time sort of between then and now. And even now I feel a little bit like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football, if you know that, with Lucy pull the ball away again. But there's something happening now. There's something happening, and it's worldwide. And there was some of us from way back, a lot of us, by one estimate, about 0.5% of the world, which doesn't sound like much, but that's 40 million people. That's a big audience for your show. Potentially, there's 40 million people who are just going to wake up. You're doing this podcast. You're doing this podcast. It's sort of, you just tapped on the shoulder and say, Viv, do this. Okay. And for me, I had to write. I had to do these explorations. It just sort of calls to you. And I'm only going from intuition here. There's a feeling that something's happening, that maybe the next 10% are going to get their wake up calls. And when they do, and it'll be the movers and shakers, that holy cow, the whole Earth's consciousness that'll be a tipping point. And I had this thought the other day. I think it comes from the young generation, the ones who to this point have, and I don't want to be critical or judgmental, kind of bought into the spirituality of technology, or the religion of technology. And don't get me wrong, I love my Google Maps, my Spotify as much as the next person, but technology as God doesn't quite work. It's very hollow. It actually inspired me to go reread T.S. Eliot's poem, The Hollow Men, the other day, and it felt hollow. And I think the younger generation, I'm talking to people in their 20s, maybe even younger, they tend to work as a group in so many ways. When they start to en masse wake up, this is going to be just a wonder to behold. And you can figure out your role in all this, but it's mostly just when you get to Viv, go over here, do this, you'll do it. And the one thing my little teeny tiny jigsaw puzzle piece, my uniqueness is people who wake up, they take the red pill and, oh my God, what have I done? And they're scared, like I was, 96. Maybe my only contribution is to say, hey, don't worry, you're not going crazy, you're going sane. This stuff makes sense, and it is fun, and you're going to love it. Come on in, the water's fine. And can I be of service in that way? Or do I want to be? Oh yeah, I would say yes to anything on that path.
Yeah. And what's been your biggest fear in your life so far?
Probably back with, oh my God, what if people find out I'm a new age nutcase and drive me out of the legal profession? That sort of dual life, if you will, was. And other than that, I still have fears today. I still feel things still annoy me, but I let them pass through me a little better than I did, because I know if you just take that fear and stuff it down, and being a good Virgo, I can stuff anything down. I can go completely impassive and handle a crisis, but you better bring it back up and you better deal with it, because it'll come at you. But yeah, there's put it this way, there's a lot more love than fear in my world right now. And I recognize for many people, the world is a terrifying, lonely place. And I wish that were not the case.
And what is self-love for you?
Self-love? just love the whole thing and you get caught up in it. You know, just love life and self-love is there. Or even you can go into that fourth chakra, the heart center, and just feel that divine feminine. You can just swim in the love. And at that point, I don't have to go get love from anybody. I do get love from people, but I don't need it. The need is gone. And similarly, you go to the divine masculine and you feel that recognition, that esteem. And I don't need the world I don't need anything. And if you don't need to earn love and gain recognition, then your ego can just watch the movie and now you can have fun, you can play it again.
Where do you hope we are in 10 years in the world from now?
10 years. Wow. Well, I don't even have a 1-year plan because I'm in the mode of just, I'm just going to receive. Tell me what's next. I'll step there. So I don't really think ahead a lot right now, other than this. I'm looking forward to seeing the unfoldment. How fast it's going to be, don't know. Will there be some big reveal or some small reveals along the way? This mass wake up, yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. So yeah, I want to watch the story unfold. And to the extent that I can participate in the story as an actor on the screen, that's even more fun. But just enjoy it.
Lovely. Anything else, Christian, you'd like to say to the people out there as a final advice?
No, I think I've stream of consciousness pretty much everything I wanted to say. I really enjoyed it though. So thank you for the opportunity to have that stream of consciousness. You're smiling, so I guess I didn't make you sad or angry. So I guess that's a good thing.
Oh, I had a blast. I've been laughing like tons. Thank you so much. You are a wonderful light worker. I love your work and your personality and your energy. So thank you so much for coming.
And best wishes for you on your future path.